first list we're going to look at in some detail is the chart of accounts. If we go to the little gear top right, you can get to the chart of accounts there under your company. You can also get to it from the all lists, but we can also get to it from the left hand side here where we go into accounting and chart of accounts appears there. So numerous ways to get to your chart of account list. If we click on here, this is the list we've got in our test file here. You can see there's no numbers against the names in the chart of accounts. It is possible to have numbering in QuickBooks, and the numbers can be switched on through the settings. So if I go to my little gear and accounts and settings, in the advanced settings in QuickBooks, there's an option to switch your numbering on. So if I go to advanced settings in here, there will be a numbering option for us in here, and you can see under chart of accounts, enable account numbers. We can switch that on, and that will put a numbering option within our chart of accounts, so we can give a number to each of the accounts in that list. So numbering chart of accounts can be useful to accountants if they're moving data from one system to another. Can also be useful for you if you want to order your list in any report, in say a profit and loss report in a certain order. If you don't use numbering, it will be in an alphabetical order. So that's numbering, and where numbering can be switched on. But if we go back to our chart of accounts here, we haven't got any numbers in this particular set of accounts. What you will find as you look down your list of accounts, that here we've got different types of accounts. So the top part of this list is all the assets in the order that it's in here. It then moves into all our liability accounts, and all of these with numbers here on the right hand side will all feed into our balance sheet reporting, our report of assets and liabilities of the business. And then it moves into our income world, and we've got our income accounts, cost of sale and expense accounts, and all of those are reporting into our profit and loss when we start looking at our reporting. You will notice here we've got some accounts that are slightly indented. Those are sub accounts, so you can have a sub account structure here where you've got a main account and then you might add another account associated to it. And when you add that second account, it will be indented, it will be a sub of the main list. The advantage of a sub account structure is that when we come to reporting, we can report at a detailed level, or we can collapse that report into just the main headings, expand the report, and it becomes all possible accounts that have got balances posted to them. So that's the reason we might create sub accounts, and that gives us a nice structure if we do so. So if we want to add to this account list, we can go to the top here, and under new we can add a new account, and that then gives us the option of an account type, and it's important for us to get the correct account type. So as I mentioned, there's some assets, some liabilities, some incomes, some expenditure in the list. So typically, for example, you may be adding a new expense code, and you'd click on and select expense in here. The detail type here again gives us a list of options. It starts with advertising, so you'll see a lot of files with advertising selected because people tend to leave it there, whereas I prefer to have a look down and see if I can get something quite close to what kind of expense it is I'm looking for. But if I can't find an expense that fits, then typically it might just become a general office or other miscellaneous expense. Detail type is not critical to us. We're not really going to run reports under detail type. We'll be running our reports under the name. So don't spend a lot of time in your detail type. In this case, I'm just going to pick Office General, and I might say I want an account perhaps to record my mobile phone expenditure. So I might call it mobile telephone or just mobiles in here. And just to show you an example of a sub account, I could make that a sub account of an account that already exists in here, and I could say I want it to be a sub account of telephones. If I want to apply a VAT code as default against this name, so my mobile phone bill always has VAT on it, then I can put in here a 20% default, so it saves me time later in selecting the right VAT code if I put a default VAT code against a particular account. So that's me creating a new account in here, and we'll see that that new account will have been created. If I can search under the filter at the top for mobile, and there's my account, and it's in my list. If I drop down, it will be in my list as a sub account of telephone, so we will see it actually indented, as we say here. So I've got telephone and indented I've got mobile. So that's how you can add an account to here. If I want to make an account inactive, I don't want it available to post to, I can go to the right hand side of the account in the little drop down, and I can make it inactive, and that will take it away from the list, and it won't be available for me to post any transactions to, but I can bring that inactive account back. If I go to the little gear in the right hand side here, you can see the option to include inactive accounts, and if I click in there, the list then includes the inactives, and you can see there's previous inactives in here, and I can make them active. So I can go and find the account that I've brought back, and select it and say, right, there's my mobiles, it says deleted next to it, I'm now going to make it active again. So that's an example of how we can add an account, how we can make it inactive, how we can bring it back if we want to start using that particular account again. So that's a good discipline to keep your chart of account list in good order and maintain it by keeping a clean list within there. Also, you'll see here there's VAT rates. So as you saw with my example there on the telephone, but other examples on here as well, there are certain codes in here that have been given default VAT rates, and you can check which ones have got detailed VAT rates. There's my mobiles by looking in this column, and again, it's worth investing some time to apply default VAT codes to here to save you time when you start entering into QuickBooks. So default VAT codes can be useful as we go along. So that's an overview of the chart of accounts. Nice to keep that nice and clean, and those are the accounts that we pick for when we're entering a particular transaction. If that's a bill or expense, we're asked to pick a particular category for it to post to, and we've got to be careful that we're posting to the correct categories. That's one of the prime lists in QuickBooks, the chart of account list.